good moment. Ian here. So today we are, just west of the Dungeness River and the incredible railroad bridge. I bet we'll hit that before we finish today. But embarrassing topic today because it's embarrassing moments and humility, which I think is important. And I want to share some of my embarrassing experiences and kind of let you know how they've shaped me. But many of us, especially in power wheelchairs, have done plenty of silly, normal, little embarrassing stuff. Run into a table unintentionally, or I did this just a couple weeks ago. Backed into someone else's table and spilled some drinks, or running over someone's foot unintentionally. It happens. I'm so cautious, and it's not often, but sometimes people have their feet where I don't expect them to be. Or another common one is just bringing like dirty wheels into a house. Right, I've been a guest at someone's place, and next thing you know, I've got dirt all over there. They're nice. They're nice floors. One time, I even ran right over an entire picnic. It was embarrassing. We'll focus on a few a few really embarrassing moments of mine that can't believe I'm sharing with you. But all right, here we go. The first one is embarrassing and scary a little bit, and it was back in 2015, and I was getting confidence about exploring, and I was down in Port Angeles, and it's about 10 miles from my home, or 8 miles from my home, and I wanted to ride home. It was approaching dark, but it was beautiful, and I wanted the miles, and so off I went. One section of the trail is called the roller coaster section, and has lots of ups and downs. That's where it gets its name. And my tilt wasn't working at that time, and I was having some suspension issues with an old chair. And I was going down a hill, couldn't tilt, and I basically flipped this chair over on its side. And I couldn't believe what I'd done. I was laying off on the side of the trail on the grass. First time I'd felt the grass on my face, and in probably 5 years at that point. But either way, I had no cell service, so I couldn't call for help. The sun was setting, and so it was just about dark. After about an hour, a couple came from the trail community, and on bikes, and I said, "Hey, little help over here. If you don't mind, could you help right me and get me up on my six wheels?" They did it, and was able to call family. In the process, I did break my leg. Stupid, but it was an embarrassing time. Hey guys, something else. This is an embarrassing one that I should have just let go, but I was. This is probably, I don't know, 2017, 2018. I was using the bus to get home and to get down to Sequim or Port Angeles and ride back. And I met all the bus drivers. They'd strap you down. They make it real easy to travel. And one of them is unhooking me once I've reached my destination, and they say, "Hey, what's this fluid on the floor?" And I start to get really embarrassed, and thinking, "Oh God, it can only be urine, from my leg bag." And I say, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help. I don't have arms, I didn't have anybody with me." And I kind of just had to leave. One of the more embarrassing things is I then called my mom, who had nothing to do with getting me up that morning or anything, and yelled at her for some reason for my leg bag failure. It was nobody's fault, and I'm sure that bus drivers have had to clean up a lot worse. But it was devastating to me, and I didn't get on a bus for some time after that because I didn't want to face that bus driver. Gosh. All right. Well, yeah, that one was rough. I think I'm gonna leave you with one last one. It was not scary and is embarrassing, and can't believe I'm gonna tell you this. This might be edited. We'll see. But this happened very recently when I went to Washington, D.C. to ride on the Great American Rail Trail. Rails to Trails was incredible with setting up this D.C. send-off where we'd be on Washington Mall, and we'd have a little talk and have some other people there, and it was this great send-off for the beginning of the ride. And it needed to start off, I think it was like 9 a.m. or something. And I'm, getting out of the hotel room, and I go to the elevator, and we're going down. And about this time, I feel there's a bit of a rumbling I hear in my stomach, and I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache, telling me that there's something else wrong, and a smell begins to develop. And it's very soon I realize that I'm pooping my pants on this elevator. Luckily, not too many people in there, but what I didn't notice is that it was very wet, and it was starting to drip out my shorts. And so I get out of the elevator at the bottom, and I'm down at the garage, and I'm heading to the car, and I see my team, and I'm like, I don't know, guys, I'm a little worried. And they look down and see these drips, and there's poop dripping out of my pants. And I'm supposed to be here to do this big talk at Washington Mall, and there's no way that I can get there in time. And so I turn around and start following these breadcrumbs of poop dots all the way back to the elevator. And as soon as I get in that elevator, it is no longer empty, and it is a full elevator. And I look these people in the eye, and I just stare them down for that whole trip up there, and I know they can smell how bad it is. But what else can you do? I certainly didn't want this experience, and you have to just try to do what you can. Somehow, we're flying, and we get me reclothed, and I start heading back to the elevator, seeing more poop spots along the way. Super embarrassing. Getting on the elevator, at least not stinking so bad this time, and we somehow make it to the send-off without missing it. But embarrassment is a part of living, and I think it has a big part of shaping us. And I think that with confidence comes more embarrassing moments, because we're pushing our limits, and it's okay. And I hope that we learn from those experiences. It then makes me think back to when I was first injured, and how many embarrassing things were happening then. I was so embarrassed to be naked and have these strangers caring for me, or to have this intimate care done by people who are pretty unfamiliar. That was really, really hard. Another dumb one, being fed in public, right? I mean, who cares? But it was hard at first to be able to accept that. And what the very worst one was, and I'm embarrassed by ever being embarrassed by this, but it was asking for help. Again, I think that I say this over and over. We've been conditioned from a young age that asking for help is a sign of weakness, and being independent is strong. Sure, we all want to strive for independence, but we also are not islands, and it's important to ask for help. And being embarrassed by that did me no favors. Anyway, embrace those embarrassing moments. They make for wonderful memories later, and terrible stories when out on the trail. But it was good chatting, and we'll see you next time.